An oil tanker moves through the Strait of Hormuz along a familiar trade route, maintaining a steady speed in waters that appear calm but are always under close surveillance. This is one of the world's most dangerous choke points, where every nautical mile is monitored and recorded, and any deviation can have consequences far beyond the region. The surrounding space seems normal, but it is actually a high-risk environment where even a small mistake could trigger a chain reaction in economics, security, and diplomacy. Without warning, 6 Iranian gunboats appear and quickly deploy in a controlled approach formation, angling in and closing the gap from multiple directions, leaving the tanker no room to maneuver. Bursts of heavy machine gun fire begin hitting the water close to the hull, creating shock waves and loud explosions, but not targeting critical areas like fuel tanks or the bridge. The ship's alarm system immediately activates. The civilian crew leaves open areas and moves into reinforced safe rooms, sealing the doors according to emergency procedures. The firepower continues at high intensity, but maintains distance and target control, clearly demonstrating intimidation rather than destruction. Immediately after the gunfire, Iranian-affiliated media channels simultaneously broadcast information about a collision, claiming the tanker caused a fatal accident that killed Iranian citizens. The content is released quickly, is emotional in nature, and is clearly structured as if prepared in advance. Labeling it an accident immediately shifts attention from the shooting to legal liability, transforming the situation from an armed confrontation into a maritime dispute. This approach places Iran in the position of the victim and forces the other side to explain, while creating pressure that any military response would be seen as an escalation of what was described as an unintentional incident. Developments on the water show this was not a random situation but a controlled scenario intended to test reactions and create recordable public errors. The gunboats do not seek to sink or destroy the target, but maintain just enough tension to force the opponent to act under observation. The objective lies not with the ship, but in shaping perception and building evidence for the broadcast narrative. The entire situation operates as a legal and media trap, where any hasty reaction could become data reinforcing the initial accusation. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital energy corridor through which approximately one-fifth of the world's traded oil passes, meaning any incident here can impact markets, insurance, and diplomatic responses on a broad scale. In this context, Iran views this region more as a pressure tool than a direct battlefield, deploying gray zone tactics based on ambiguity, timing, and perception. The Revolutionary Guard uses fast boats not to confront a large navy directly, but to harass, close in, and force the opponent into making difficult decisions at close range, maintaining tension below the threshold of open war. Throughout the incident, the U.S. side maintains radio silence, issuing no warnings, not responding to accusations, and firing no warning shots to avoid creating audio data that could be recorded and exploited. The bursts from the Iranian ships are carried out in a controlled manner, continuously creating psychological pressure while avoiding fatal damage. At the same time, signs of boarding preparations indicate the goal has shifted to controlling the ship rather than destroying it. Inside the tanker, the crew is isolated in the safe room, completely dependent on the external response. The situation presents a dilemma where any reaction carries risk. Just one ill-timed shot could cause an explosion or oil spill, changing the entire situation and obscuring the initial behavior. From a high altitude, an MQ-9 Reaper moves into an observation position, using thermal and multispectral sensors to monitor the entire development with high precision. From this perspective, the movements of the gunboats and the tanker are recorded as structured data, including speed, distance, rate of fire, and direction of travel. The imagery shows the tanker maintaining a steady course, with no sudden changes in speed or direction, and no signs of collision or loss of control. This continuous data directly undermines the claim of an accident, as the conditions necessary for a collision did not appear throughout the entire observation sequence. In the next phase, a P-8 Poseidon aircraft is deployed to collect physical evidence from the maritime environment, dropping sensors to record underwater acoustic, pressure, and vibration data. Analysis detects no characteristic signals of metal-on-metal collision, no acoustic spikes or vibration traces consistent with two ships making contact. The tanker's AIS data also shows a stable journey, with no unusual changes in heading or speed. The alignment between the acoustic data and the voyage data eliminates the possibility of a collision as claimed, moving the entire incident from controversy to verifiable evidence. Once the data is clear, a U.S. destroyer approaches and maintains a steady course, not responding with gunfire, but creating pressure through its position and movement. Long-range acoustic devices are activated, causing imbalance for the small boats, while not affecting the large vessel, and the wake from its hull breaks the gunboat's formation without needing a collision. In the air, electronic warfare systems jam radar and communications while simultaneously collecting signals. The Iranian vessels continue their provocations, but do not achieve the desired response and eventually withdraw. No shots were fired from the U.S. side, there was no direct damage, but the entire data set on signals, behavior, and operation was collected. The claim of an accident was not proven by physical evidence and failed to maintain validity. At the conclusion of the event, the area shows no signs of damage, but the entire sequence has created a strategic data set for future scenarios. What remains is the question of the choice between allowing the opponent to withdraw to maintain a long-term advantage